Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Harakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, great most honorable well, and Shalom to all the brothers doing the work, sincerity and truth. Just wanted to kind of touch on, essentially, how we're all basically different aspects of the body in this work. And, you'll kind of see with this work, it's like, there's much to do. And for each individual brother that's drawn in, there'll be a portion, a share of the work that needs to be done, and that's really what you'll see manifest. You see a brother where they might get into uh you know finance. They might know a bit more about that. They might know a bit more about like the military side of things. There might be one that's more into tech that will kind of be able to break down things with like the MOTB and whatnot. There'll be different kind of regions where there'll be specializations, and you'll see that manifest through the spirit where they've been given that talent, and then they make merchandise out of it. They make money out of it. So I read this, 1 Corinthians 12:1. It says, "Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. You know that you were Gentiles carried away unto these dumb idols, even as you were led. Wherefore I give you to understand that no man speaking by the Spirit of the Most High calleth Yahushua accursed, and that no man can say that Yahushua is the Lord but by the Holy Spirit. Now there are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit." And yes, it's kind of, the core goes back to, it's all within that same Spirit. Everything that's being done is essentially being done for the sake of that same Spirit, for the sake of the word, for the sake of Yahushua. All to the same goal. That's what it's all working towards. And then just how you had, Paul had his office. He was basically there to go to the Gentiles, to basically have that whole aspect of the word going out. The Gentiles being drawn in, the Israelite foreigners. That was necessary. That was necessary, because it wasn't just in where it was Judea, where the bulk of Israel was at the time. It wasn't just among them, and even among them you had like hella of them. Jakes were just not down with Yahushua. So that's the beauty of those that wouldn't even have seen him, to then still have faith in him, still believe, down the line. And it's beautiful. But that's why and even with that, it's, diversity of gifts. One of the gifts was, speaking in tongues. That was one of the ways that the word went out. Acts chapter 2 goes into it. How you had the, all the different apostles basically speaking in a variety of tongues. Said Elam, Greek, had all these different languages being spoken, and then they were like, "Damn, how is it that everyone's hearing it in in the tongue of the land where we're born?" But then why? It's obviously because it was coming to that point where the Gentiles, the Israelite foreigners, are going to be drawn in. But I read this, Jeremiah 1:5. "Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations." So yeah, as far as for any man, that's the thing, is applicable to the prophets specifically. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. There was a spirit that was already appointed to a certain office before you got put in the belly and put on the earth. And that's the same thing with the what's it called? With these gifts, it's like it was set. It was like, okay, he's gonna have the gift of healing. Okay, he's gonna have the gift of prophecy. He's gonna have a gift in this particular field. He's gonna speak this tongue. He's gonna speak that tongue. And those things were set up and ordained beforehand. And that's the thing. It's the same for the time we're in now. Now the things that are going to be fulfilled in this time, they've already been set in the spirit. And hey, is beautiful. You're seeing it manifest. And Proverbs 16:4 it says, "The Lord Yahweh made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil." And then the flip side of that as well is even the wicked, those that are unbelieving, those that are gonna work and do everything in their power to frustrate the word. They've also been established before, and for a purpose. Because the wicked Esau Edom, so-called white man, he's been established what for his particular role. His job's been given. He's been ordained, to do what he's gonna do, and that's how the Lord gets down. So back in 1 Corinthians 12:4, it says, "Now there are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit, and there are differences of administrations, but the same Lord." And yeah, even with the administrations, that's something that was set from from even when Moses was ruling over Israel. I'll read through it, because this those having a particular office, having a particular administration, that's something the Lord deals with. The Lord deals with order. There's there's hierarchies. There's heads put in place. There's captains set over different tiers of captains that are established, and that's how the Lord gets down. And that's why it's as much as in the current day they're kind of making it like, oh, it's all just nebulous and everyone can just be off and doing whatever the hell they want. But then the reality is you think that, but then there's over all these countries there's presidents or prime ministers, there's government officials. There'll be like a secretary of state or home office or whatever. There'll be someone in charge of the economy, someone in charge of the troops and the police. There'll be there'll be people in charge, because that's the reality of how order's maintained. You're gonna have people be heads of things, and that's how it's gonna be in the kingdom. I mean, it's the same in this work. Because Exodus 18:17 it says, "And Moses' father-in-law said unto him, The thing that thou doest is not good. Thou wilt surely wear away both thou and this people that is with thee." And yeah, it was basically Moses, like judging over Israel, like directly by himself, to teach them the laws, to basically judge accordingly to the law. But then Jethro's father-in-law came and said, so he says, and this says, "For this thing is too heavy for thee, thou art not able to perform it thyself alone. Hearken now unto my voice, I will give thee counsel, and the Most High shall be with thee. Be thou for the people to the Most Highward, that thou mayest bring the causes unto the Most High, that thou teach them ordinances and laws, and shalt show them the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they must do. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of the people able men, such as fear the Most High." So yeah, to teach them, rather than him just going directly one to each of them, or to two of them at a time. It was then like just saying like, yo, just set up men underneath you, men that upright, men that are not virtuous, virtuous for the law. "And thou shalt teach them ordinances and laws, and thou shalt show them the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they must do. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of the people able men, such as fear the Most High, men of truth, hating covetousness, and placing such over them, to be rulers of thousands, and rulers of hundreds, and rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens." Yeah, so they're basically set and established as rulers over, varying degrees of men. You have the larger numbers, then the smaller numbers as well. But then it would be each according to their measure. It says, "And let them judge the people at all seasons. And it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto thee, but every small matter they shall judge. And that's something, Esau, even in his, he's established his own laws, but then how he judges those laws is by a similar manner. And over in the UK, you have like magistrates court, that's the lower court, where it's for smaller matters, it might be more personal matters. Then you have the crown court, where it'll be for like, murder, rape, financial crime, the big cases, they'll basically be dealt with on the crown court level. But it says what? So it shall be easier for thyself, and they shall bear the burden with thee. Yeah. And that's how the Lord had it set up, where it will basically be, portioned off. Because why? That's, hierarchy. That's how the Most High gets down. It says what, back in 1 Corinthians 12:4, it says, now there are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit. And there are differences of administrations, but the same Lord. And there are diversities of operations, but it's the same power which worketh in all. But the manifestation of the Spirit is given to every man to profit withal. For to one is given by the Spirit the word of wisdom, to another the word of knowledge by the same Spirit. And yeah, that same Spirit will work, in different ways with different brothers. One form of understanding might go to one brother, one might go to another. Then it's in the combining of them. Then you have, it furthers the whole entity, the whole body all together. And then even with what iron sharpeneth iron, though, like basically all those brothers working together, you then are gonna have with all these different ideas flowing around, this Spirit's gonna propagate even more. For to one is given the Spirit the word of wisdom, to another the word of knowledge by the same Spirit, to another faith by the same Spirit, to another the gifts of healing by the same Spirit, to another the working of miracles, to another prophecy, to another discerning of spirits, to another diverse kinds of tongues, to another interpretation of tongues. But all these worketh that one and the self-same Spirit, dividing to every man severally as he will. Yeah, even with the tongues as well, you have various brothers. They might have learned the language, growing up, especially when you deal with, because in the modern age, you've got the bulk of Jake in the States. But then when you had the apostles, the elder apostles go on YouTube, the word went global. And then when you go globally, you're going to have Jakes where it will mostly be Israelite foreigners. You're going to have Jakes where they might come from the West Coast. They might, have moved from these different regions, then be in different parts of Europe, be in Asia, be in Australia, be, all over. And then they ain't going to be able to just say, like, oh, I'm just a so-called Negro or a so-called Puerto Rican. But then what? They're still going to have that same Spirit still going to work with them. Then it might, have the different language, or they'll be able to speak, to teach in their particular language, which wouldn't, it's beautiful. That basically is given more range for the word to go out. And that's how it was set up, 2,000 years ago. Like Acts 2, like I said. Actually, no, there's a bit more. So it says, verse 12, says, for as the body is one and hath many members, and all the members of that one body, being many, are one body, so also is Hamashiach. For by one Spirit are we all baptized into one body, whether we be Jews or Gentiles, whether we be bond or free, and have been all made to drink into one Spirit. Yeah, and, whether you be Jews or Gentiles, that don't mean that, you're just gonna get a straight heathen in there. It's obviously talking about the Israelite foreigners, those Israelites that were scattered amongst the the other nations, as it was prophesied, as it was set. Even from Deuteronomy 28, it's been it's been known that you're gonna have a scattering, and then in the end times, Jacob will be scattered away from the land of Israel. But 1 Corinthians 1:12, it says, "Now this I say, that every one of you saith, I am of Paul, and I of Apollos, and I of Cephas, and I of Hamashiach. Is Hamashiach divided? Was Paul crucified for you, or were you baptized in the name of Paul?" So yeah, with that's basically two, men trying to separate and say, okay, I came in under Paul, I came in under Apollos, I came in under Cephas, I came in under Yahweh. Those separations, when you're dealing with, the Spirit, is meant to be as one. There's not those separations where it's like, okay, you be like, okay, I came up under this brother, or I came up under this brother. So, this is all about Yahweh Shai. We're all in, it's the same Spirit. As the thing is, as long as what's being taught is correct and on point, then, we're as one. As long as when you go to the MOTB, that's being taught correctly, that it's a micro C-hip, when you're dealing with, the end time prophecies, you're not talking about, after 1,000 years, Gog's just going to come out of, the subterranean abyss. He's going to be like the kaiju in, what was it called? Pacific Rim, where they just come out of a crack in the, in the middle of the ocean, after 1,000 years. That ain't going to happen. But then what? That's, being as one is, having that same Spirit, teaching the same thing. Because it says what? Is Hamashiach divided? Was Paul crucified for you? Or were you baptized in the name of Paul? I thank the Most High that I baptized none of you but Crispus and Gaius, lest any should say that I had baptized in mine own name. And I baptized also the household of Stephanus. Besides, I know not whether I baptized any other. For Hamashiach sent me not to baptize, but to preach the gospel, not with wisdom as words, lest the cross of Yahweh Shai should be of none effect. And yeah, that's the thing. It's not about, glorying in under a particular name. And that's why it's like, if you got a particular gift, doesn't mean, it's not to separate. It's all meant to still be working for the sake of that same word, man. And that's kind of, the nature of the body. There's a diversity amongst it. There's a difference in how each brother is going to have the Spirit hit them. Because like it said, there's the same Spirit will hit someone, and then it will have a different, one will be prophesying by it, one will be getting languages by it. There's a diversity of the ways that it works. But then it's that one Spirit though. Romans 15 and 5, it says, Now the power of patience and consolation grant you to be like-minded one towards another, according to Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, that ye may be with one mind and one mouth glorify, that ye may with one mind and one mouth glorify the Most High, even the Father of our Lord Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. Wherefore receive ye one another as Yahweh Shai also received us, to the glory of the Most High. So yeah, we're meant to be of one mind and of one mouth, meant to be saying the same thing and basically in accord. And that's how the Lord had it set up, man. But then also diversity of gifts. So back in 1 Corinthians 12 and 14, because it says what? For the body is not one member, but many. If the foot shall say, because I am not the hand, I am not of the body, is it therefore not of the body? If the ear shall say, because I am not the eye, I am not of the body, is it therefore not of the body? If the whole body were an eye, where were the hearing? If the whole were hearing, where were the smelling? And yeah, everyone's basically got a different role within that body. Not everyone can take on every role. If everyone had that same role, then yeah, as it said, the body wouldn't function. And that's like the key one that a lot of men lust after is those leadership roles, being the head. They think it's the position that's like Yahweh Shai. They want to try and outdo Yahweh Shai. They want to have more shine on them than Yahweh Shai has on them. And with that, as it says, the body's not going to function. Everyone's got a role to serve, and that's the thing as well. Is even with that role that you serve, then with each role that's assigned, there's a particular hell as well assigned to that role. Just because some people are lusting after roles, not knowing what comes with it. They might try and put themselves in that situation and then drown themselves. Luke 12:48 it says, "But he that knew not and did commit things worthy of stripes shall be beaten with few stripes. For unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall be much required. And to him whom men have committed much, of him they will ask the more." So yeah, whoever much is given, much is required. And that's what a lot of men don't understand. They don't see that it's actually a matter of, just taking on that role. It's not just you then enjoy all the bliss. They think it might just be, it's all good times. It's all celebrations. They don't realize there's hell associated with it as well. There's troubles. There's, you get demons messing with you. You get all kinds of hell, in the world. Things can just start completely not working out at all. There might be a family dynamic there which, might mess up, or then, it could even be to where it's like it maintains, but then it makes the strain on the word harder. There's all kinds of ways and means by which, brothers have tried in this word. And like I said, just as there's diversity of gifts, there's a diversity of hell that comes, with it. You're given much is required. Ecclesiasticus 2:1 it says, "My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in the time of trouble. Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state." Yeah, your mind has to basically be like, if hell's gonna, be required, then hey, you're just gonna have to take it. Because it says what? "For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity." And yeah, being built up for this word, you're basically being put through that furnace, that fire, those trials, those tribulations, to then, build you up to the point where you can be like, oh, okay, you're worthy of you're capable of fulfilling the role that's needed of you. And even as well, I was thinking there's parable, because with, you got people lusting for a particular role. They might think, okay, I want to be the head, I want to be the hand, I want to be the arm, I want to be the bicep, I want to be the quadricep. But then, as far as with the reward, as long as you're one of the elect, you're receiving that reward, man. And that reward is going to be the same. You get to be one of the elect, you get to be saved. That's really all you really should be hoping to be, is just to be part of the body. Even if you just, you could just be the nail on the pinky toe. As long as you're the nail on the pinky toe, you're good. As long as you're the cartilage on the kneecap, you're good. Matthew 20:1, it says, "For the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder, which went out early in the morning to hire laborers into his vineyard. And when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into his vineyard. So the wage was set. And he went out about the third hour, and saw others standing idle on a marketplace, and said unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right I will give you. And they went their way. Again he went out at the 6th and the 9th hour, and did likewise. And the 11th hour he went out, and found others standing idle, and said unto them, Why stand ye here all the day idle? They say unto him, Because no man hath hired us. He saith unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right, that shall ye receive. So when even was come, the Lord of the vineyard saith unto his steward, Call the labourers, and give them their hire, beginning from the last unto the first. And when they came that were hired about the 11th hour, they received every man a penny. So them men that came right at the end, they, like it said, they only did an hour of labour. Actually, no, I think it says it after. But it says what? But when the first came, they supposed that they should have received more, and they likewise received every man a penny. Like I said, the wage was set. And when they had received it, they murmured against the goodman of the house, saying, These last have wrought but 1 hour, and thou hast made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden and the heat of the day. Be answered one of them and said, Friend, I do thee no wrong. Didst thou not agree with me for a penny? And yeah, the reward was set. You're gonna have those, just like with as far as, rather than lusting for position, you really should just be thinking, you know what, I just want a slice of that reward. As long as we get, that salvation, as long as you get to be one of the elect, you get to be renewed, you get to be in the kingdom. Like that's it. Because as far as if you're not counted among the elect, then it's what you got to go through death by pain. You got to go through all kinds of hell, and then even you get in the kingdom, you're gonna have to have your head low. You're gonna feel that shame. But he answered one of them and said, Friend, I do thee no wrong. Didst thou not agree with me for a penny? Take that thine is, and go thy way, and I will give unto this last, even as unto thee. Is it not lawful for me to do what I will with mine own? Is thine eye evil, because I am good? So the last shall be first, and the first last. For many be called, but few chosen. And yeah, it's as the reward is set as Yahweh Hashem Yahushua desires. It's basically like, even those that come in, they can receive their crown. They might have been doing the work for you got the elder apostles where they've been doing it for decades. But you could have a man come in, he might only be in for 2-3 months. But if he endures through onto the end, he'll receive his crown. So, lusting for, particular, or just thinking like, nah, I should be the ear. Like, why are you going to be doing all that when that reward, you receive that reward, it's going to be beautiful. 1 Corinthians 12, start from 17, it says, If the whole body were an eye, where were the hearing? If the whole were hearing, where were the smelling? But now hath the Most High set the members, every one of them, in the body as it hath pleased him. And just like with a householder, where the reward was set, and it pleased the Most High to be like, them guys that come in, he's going to be in for 2 days, and he's going to receive his crown. And the Most High can do that, man. Just as with whatever role you have in the body, that's been set as well. You might think, oh, why do I, you might be looking at someone else. But then what's the reality? And if they were all one member, where were the body? And that's the real. A body requires, various different elements and body parts carrying different things. Even like, the hand, the left hand and the right hand, if both your thumbs were facing the same way, it's going to make a lot of tasks far more difficult. If you didn't have certain joints, certain sinews, certain cartilages, muscles, etc., it would all damage the whole. The capability of the whole would be compromised. And if they were all one member, where were the body? But now are they many members, yet but one body. And the eye cannot say unto the hand, I have no need of thee, nor again the head to the feet, I have no need of you. Nay, much more those members of the body which seem to be more feeble are necessary. And yeah, you can just look at, any, disabled person where it's like they might be missing certain capabilities. Then, they need some super workarounds to get, even like the voice box not working, the ears not working, all the, any capabilities not working. It's a big part of how they're going to push the MOTB. They're pushing it off. Oh, we're helping, we're aiding people. They have certain, ailments. We're making it so that they can get niced up. But then what? As far as with the body, it's all necessary. And those members of the body, which you think to be less honourable, upon these we bestow more abundant honour, and our uncomely parts have more abundant comeliness. For our comely parts have no need, but the Most High have tempered the body together, having given more abundant honour to the part which lacked, that there should be no schism in the body, but that the members should have the same care one for another. And yeah, it's essentially, it's all working to a purpose, and it's all working intermingled, working together. If they ain't no veins, the arteries are going to be out of whack. If you don't have the lungs, you don't have the esophagus or whatever, then the oxygen and whatnot get into your body, and all these different things, all the different cells needed, all works in tandem. Just like the human. That's the thing. It's like one element, you introduce it to the human body, that can just arrest everything. That's why you have like poisons. Poisons is generally you take like an element that might be an aspect of the body, and then crank up to a level where it fucks up the way the whole body works, and then that'll just put someone to death. But that's why it's like as far as with the word, with this truth, the whole body's been basically made. Everyone's been given that role, and it's all those of the elect, man. Essentially, the Lord set His men from before the world was made, and they've each been pieced off what they've been pieced off. And now's the time of the end where it's they're all gonna fulfill their roles. That there would be no schism in the body, but that the members should have the same care one for another, and whether one member suffer, all the members suffer with it, or when one member be honoured, all the members rejoice with it. So yeah, all in accord, all as one. Now ye are the body of Hamashiach, and members in particular, and the Most High have set some in the church, first apostles, secondarily prophets, thirdly teachers, after that miracles, then gifts of healing, helps, governments, diversities of tongues. Are all apostles? Are all prophets? Are all teachers? Are all workers of miracles? Have all the gifts of healing? Do all speak with tongues? Do all interpret? But cover earnestly the best gifts, and yet show I unto you a more excellent way. Yeah, everyone's not fulfilling that same role. Everyone's got their little piece to bring forth. And that's, that's how the Lord has it. So yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom.